Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are recording. So keep profanity down to a minimum. Dennis. Let's pick on Dennis and White Day today. So everybody gets to pick on them. Today we're going to do a simple composite, really easy to do. Well, if you know the tricks, this one's a really simple one that I'm going to do. I had a friend up here that had some images that she wanted to see how to extract and do composites. And the cool thing is she put them on a green screen for me, which made it like super easy to extract. So we're going to go ahead and get started and share screen. I'll do desktop, so we'll make it easy. And you can see my Photoshop program okay?
Yep.
Cool.
You're one lone snowman.
He blew over the other day. Let's see. This is going to be our base for the composite.
You're going to transform your house into that castle? Is that the deal?
No, the house was just a picture to show everybody what Idaho looks like today.
Is that your house?
That is my house.
Oh, cool.
Actually, this is my house, but
yeah, I'm coming to visit.
And I'm going to place this into Photoshop. So what I did was right click on the picture, come down to place in Photoshop. And it's going to put it on this image. Ta-da! Just that easy. Obviously, I don't want to have to make feet for them or shoes or any of that stuff. So I'm going to do it really simple and just drag them down just a little bit to get them out of the picture. And maybe make them a little bit bigger so he looks semi-realistic there. And there you go. That's a composite image. And you can see on my screen that for some reason, Photoshop doesn't always take away the transformation outline. It's already been transformed. So if I hit Command 0, it goes away. I don't know why it's doing that. Also, when I'm using the healing brush, same thing. It'll leave the healing brush marks across there. When I change the size of the screen, it'll take it away also. So don't panic if yours does the same thing.
You said command 0, or would that be Control 0 for me?
Control 0, Control plus, Control minus, any of the above, any change in the screen, it'll take it away. So I don't know why it's doing it, but it does it. That's been since the last update. So explain that one to me. Okay, I am going to go to the magic tool called Object Selection Tool. And for those that have the newest version of Photoshop, you're supposed to be able to have it pick out the subject and put an outline around it or highlight it in like a light blue. Mine doesn't do that, and I don't know why, but I'm still able to play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select subject, and I'm doing it on top of this image on purpose so you can see what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So I'm going to hit select subject. And you'll see that it did a very good job of selecting my subject because the green screen makes it easy to work with. So if I go to select and mask, I have it set to on layers. You have the black, you have the white, you have overlay, marching ants, onion skin. But on this particular one, I have on layers. And the reason I have it on layers is so that I can see the selection and how it's going to work with the layers that we have going on. And if I hit the zoom tool, Z for zoom, even in select subject, you'll see in his hair, there is a little bit of green left there. So let me go to black. You'll probably see it better. Maybe. Okay, black, opacity, and you can see the little bit of a green outline. Don't panic over that yet. So what we're going to do is go to select or output, and I'm going to go new layer with layer mask. click OK. And you can see, you can see the green there. That's not a problem. To get rid of it, you go to your adjustment layers down here, and we're going to go to, let's go to hue and saturation. Probably be the fastest way to do it. On hue and saturation, you have what's called the master. You also have red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and magenta. I'm going to click on green, and I'm going to desaturate the green. I'm also going to darken it down a little bit so it just totally disappears. It still looks like there's a little bit there, but I don't think there is. But let's go ahead and clip it to that. There we go. When I clipped it, it tended to get rid of the green that was around his hair there. And there's no green around the outside of his jacket, so he fits in there just fine. Problem is, I want to make this a nighttime shot, but we'll do that in a little bit first. Let me group these three together. So I'm going to do the hue and saturation, the original image, and the cutout image of him. I don't even need to do that. Let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to get rid of the original image of him. It's gone. I'm going to right click on the layer mask, and it has apply layer mask. Click OK. Now the layer mask is gone. So if I have him by himself, that's him. And the way to turn off all the other layers except for him is to Option or Alt click on the eye. And that turns everything off. Option or Alt click again, and it turns everything back on again.
Is
So
that layer, is that layer laid on top of the one you just put on, or is that totally gone?
I totally got rid of the original layer.
Okay.
So let's call him Boy. And go to background. I want to make this sky go to nighttime. Really easy to do now, isn't it? Edit, sky replacement. And your sky replacement will probably come up with something like this, but that's okay. We'll get rid of that. And I will go down to Mike's. No, I won't. I'll go down to the very bottom and I have night set up. Click on my night shot. And you can add all your images in there that you want. And I don't think I need to change anything on that. I'll leave it like it is. And I'll output it to a new layer. So I have it on top of the background layer. You'll notice before I did that, let's go backwards. I had the background layer selected. If I try to do it on top of the boy, let's do edit, sky replacement.
There's no sky.
There's no sky there. And you'll see this weird, come on. There you go. It goes just around him. So the Photoshop thinks, oh, that's my sky. Well, no, it's not. Hit cancel, click on background again, and we'll do sky replacement. And the cool thing is with sky replacement is it will automatically put in the same background that you just used. So it reverts back to daddy. Here we go, boom. And that creates a group with the sky replacement in there. And we're getting there. So let's go ahead and figure out what we got to do to make this look realistic. Number one, I think, is the highlights on the brick above the left side of his head. We need to take those out and darken it down. Probably the fastest way is I could create a curve adjustment layer, bring the darkness over to the right. And let's go ahead and clip that to just the background. Let's drop him down here. We're going to clip him to the background. There's two ways to clip it. One is to hit Option or Alt and click between the two layers. So it creates a clipping mask. You can see that my cursor changed to a little box with a down arrow. That means it's a clipping mask. Or on the properties panel, you have the bottom left is also creating a clipping mask. So either one will work. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to fill it with black. So if I click on the mask itself and just hit Command I, it fills it with black. What I'm doing is hiding everything in there. Get my brush, make it a whole lot smaller, and probably go down to about 20% opacity. And you see nothing's happening. The reason why nothing is happening is because I'm trying to paint with black on black, and I need to paint with white. So the fastest way to do that is X, which will exchange the colors on the left-hand side. Hit X to exchange. We went to white. Now we're at 20% opacity. And it's not a whole lot happening, just a little bit. Make my brush a little bit smaller. And let's go back to here. And it's still not looking good. No problem. We'll cancel that. Delete that layer. Make a copy of this layer, Command J. And then I will go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter. And there, you can do it in Camera Raw, or you can lower the opacity. If I click on this little circle to the right in Camera Raw, it brings up your brush, linear gradient, and radial gradient. I'm going to click on brush, and I'm just going to make a smaller brush and go inside, not that small. Just go inside of here. I'm going to drop the exposure down a little bit. Try and get it to match up a little bit. Drop the saturation down a little bit. There's like 10 different ways to do this. Drop the highlights and the whites. And it's still not doing a really good job for me. I'm not happy with that. Probably cool down the temperature a little bit, maybe try to match it up a little. And that's a little bit better, but not perfect. So let's go ahead and try the curves adjustment layer. And if anybody has any other suggestions for how to make it gooder, I'm all ears.
Michael, how about taking the make a second copy as you have for the background and flip it and just simply expose the same areas of the other side onto this side.
Well, let's see what happens when I do that. So we'll go to Command T, which is free transform. I say Command T or Control T. Every once in a while that doesn't show up for some reason again. And we will go to flip horizontal. And then hit enter. And you'll see that my line stayed there. And then we'll add a layer mask, fill it with black. So Command I. Get a brush. Let's go with 50% opacity just to kind of fill it in a little bit. And with the opacity, although it's not doing all the way dark like you want it, That's not going to work on that edge, so we'll have to fix that too.
I think you still have the hue and saturation level affecting it.
Actually, the hue and saturation level is only for the kid right now.
I see the clip.
Why do I have hue and saturation level on there anyway? Okay. Okay, part of the wall just doesn't match up perfectly, so we will hit X. Paint that out a little bit. And then what we can do is just add another layer for fun. And then we'll take our clone stamp tool, Command or just S, Option click on this area. And what I would probably do is I could take that wall and do it over here as well, but it'd be a lot of extra work. So let's just go ahead and add some. And to make a straight line, all you have to do is hold the Shift key. So if I click here, hold the Shift key and go up to here, it'll do a straight line going all the way across. So here in saturation, we don't need that because we didn't do anything with it. So, oh, that was to get rid of the green from his hair. That's why I got that going. Duh. Okay, a couple of things we got to do. Number one, make a new layer. I want to light up these lights that you see up there and make them look like they are actually working. So what I would do is go to my brush tool, go to about 20%, get a fairly large brush. We'll go to screen mode. And what is wrong with that picture? If you look at the brush, it's at 100% hardness. Take it back to 0, Command Z. We'll do the same thing with this side. Then I'm going to change the color a little bit and get a little bit less warmth out of it. Make it smaller so it's brighter in the middle. Make it bigger so it flares. Now we have lights going on behind him. And what you can do is, so that there's a pinpoint in the light like you would normally have, just click in there. There's your candlestick all lit up for him. What I'm doing is dragging down a little bit to elongate that little flame in there. Make another layer and we will do the same thing for his lantern that he's carrying. Make it really big so we get some great flare out of it. And we'll go to the warmer tone again. And I'm just making this up as I go, so I may not have everything perfect, but it's fun. Like, let's just go to normal. And on him, obviously he's going to get a little bit of feedback from the light. So what I will do is very lightly, like at say 5%. So I just type in 0.5.
Michael, you
Yes.
just switched to normal a moment ago. What mode did you have it on before you had it on normal?
I had it on screen.
Oh, okay, thank you.
You can use either screen or lighten. And then I'm going to add a little bit of color to the walls along here. just kind of adding from from the light. So you're going to get some feedback or some reflection from the light, little warm tone on the sides and on the stairs a little bit.
Michael, what about feedback in the back of his head from the lights and behind?
A little bit of a glow. What you could do is on the boy, we'll go to effects. So double click, you can double click in the blue area off to the right, or you can go down to effects and click on outer glow. And I got pattern overlay by mistake. I'm going to click.
Hey, that looks awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's not working for me. Click that off. Goodbye. And outer glow, we're going to click, say this warm tone there. And opacity, bring the opacity way down. And the spread a little too far. And it's for some reason, I'm getting some on the outside of the image. So let's 0. I'm just painting away the outside of the image where the glow took effect for some reason. Wow. It's doing this whole thing. So what I'd have to do is bring his head and a little bit of his shoulders out. So let's turn off all the other layers. We'll select him with the lasso. And let's go select and mask. Whoops, wrong guy. Command escape. Let's go with select subject. Deselect, and we'll just do a select subject on him, make it easy. Just this part of him. And if you're not happy with enough selection, then just hold the shift key down and select a little bit more. Now you have his head and shoulders. We'll do a Command J to make his head and shoulders only on that layer. Now we can do the painting in, see what happens. I'll double click on the area over there, go to outer glow again. And it's getting the bottom half. And there's a trick to get rid of that, but I don't remember what it is. Click OK. Go to the eraser brush, which I never use. And that's not going to work either. Okay, I'm stumping myself. I forget what the trick is to get rid of that extra glow there.
On that extra mask you made, you could, I mean, on that layer that the boy said, put a mask on it, then you can get rid of the bottom glow if you want to. I think the masking might work.
Well, what happens when you add a mask and then you add a glow in there, what it does, you can see the glow around the bottom of him. So when you try to mask that off, let's click on the mask brush. And when you mask it, it creates more glow.
Okay.
And can you apply that effect and then mask it out?
We'll try it, see what happens.
Michael, when you're in the that mode, when you double clicked on that layer, isn't there an option, click box in there for something to do with allowing the layer mask to do something? If I remember right.
Okay, let's go ahead. Okay. Outer glow. And I don't see a box in there for doing that. However,
There was a second, when you first went to this, there was, might be under blending options at the top. If it's is it an overall, right there. Layer mask hides effect, right in the middle, almost dead center.
thank
Second
you.
one, yeah.
Okay.
That
Now we
might
got
be
it.
flowing way back to a Suzette Allen class 10 years ago.
You know, I knew there was a way to do that. I just didn't remember the trick. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll layer mask it. Click on layer mask. There it is. Thank you, Kevin. You get the prize for the
Don't
day.
thank me. Let's see if it works or not.
It does.
Oh, it looks like it does.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Boy, somebody better clear the cobwebs off that one.
There's probably too much of a layer of an effect there, but I got to turn the lights back on, don't I? Yeah, it's too much of an effect, but you can trim it down a little bit, soften it.
Yeah.
You could also change the blending mode on that, couldn't you? Change the opacity, not the blending mode, opacity a little bit. Because what's underneath it is his head straight.
What I could do is do the fill down a little bit, bring the opacity down. There you go.
There you go.
About, let's take it about 40%. Still a little bit too harsh. Well, let's take it even further. Let's go down to 20%. There we go. Cool.
Question, could you actually use where you got rid of the green screen? If you could change that color, the green there to yellow, it would automatically just be influencing his hair itself and not having that extreme glow around his head.
Yeah, that might, there wasn't that much green in there, it's just a little bit. So that's what we did. Okay, I'm thinking we could use a moon in there, couldn't we? You can always use a moon. So let's grab a moon. And we'll leave it like it is. Nice, warm harvest moon. Full moon, of course.
Put the moon in
And
the lantern.
let's go ahead and bring him to the top. Go to the top layer, bring the moon in. So what I'm doing is I'm dragging the moon using the move tool to the other tab where this guy is, not letting go of the mouse, dragging it down, letting go, getting rid of all these menus. And I'm going to change him to lighten, but I'm going to move the moon up on top. Command T to free transform. Command 0 to show the whole transformation. We'll undo that real quick. Okay, when I went Command T, you'll notice that all the transformation tools, the bar on the outside disappeared. So I hit Command 0, and that shows the entire image of the moon. So let's make it a little more realistic and smaller. Bring it up there. And call it good. So click on the check mark at the top. And you can see my line stays there again. A little bit smaller. Command T. Let's go 80%. Okay. If I put it in normal mode, the black shows up. If I put it in screen, or lighten, either one. I kind of like screen better. And we can move it over to the left. Oh, look, we could hide the moon a little bit. So add a layer mask, get out my brush, right click on my brush. I said right click on my brush. There we go. Take the hardness to 100. Make my brush real small. Make this bigger so I can see what the heck I'm doing with my glasses on even. And I'll hold the shift key down. X so I can get rid of the helps if you paint with the right color. And sometimes you got to do it 2 or 3 times because you screw it up each time. So close enough for government work for now. If I was doing it for print comp, I'd spend probably half an hour making sure everything was perfect on it. Probably do a selection of the wall and just drop in the mask that way. I just want to do it really quick this way. And if you really get excited and crazy, you go to, I don't know if I have any birds and I do not. We'll go to computer, wait for my hard drive to spool up, get that nice, there we go. And go to photos, stock photos, birds. Oh, there's a reason why I can't get birds. They're under animals. There we go. Animals to birds. And let's go to vultures, V for vultures. There's a nice vulture right there. Double click on my vulture and desaturate the heck out of it. Bring the exposure down a little bit. Click open. If everything works, I go to select subject. And of course it doesn't work because you can see it needs help. And I'm on black, so that's not going to work. Do it on white. Zoom in on the bird. Take my refined edge brush, which is R. Just get a couple of spaces in there where they're supposed to belong. And for me, that's close enough. And they've changed something on your selecting mask. Used to be, they had remember settings. It's no longer there. They took it away. So there's my bird close enough. Let's get rid of the mask. Apply layer mask. And then I will drag him over. No, I won't drag him like that. Escape, Command D. Let's go ahead and hit V for move tool if you want to do it right. Drag him to the top up there, bring him over the moon. Command T to make him smaller. Just so you got a little reflection of a bird in there. Hit enter. He would probably fit in on the black pretty close. Let's try that, move him over. Now he disappears. Okay. We'll leave him up there so you can see him. A little bit of reflection. That is a simple composite. Things to make it sellable are the light along the wall, along the steps, a little bit of yellow reflection on him, a glow at the lamp, a glow with these lights up here. It's the little things that sell it, because if you just do him on the steps without everything being lit up, it looks like he's on the steps without everything lit up. So any questions?
On the clipping, what's clipping?
Clipping mask will attach the layer above to the layer below. So let's see what I got clipped here. The only clipping I have going on right now is the hue and saturation to take the green out of him. So let's add another hue and saturation for fun. Go to hue and saturation. Hello. And we'll go to hue and saturation, another mask. And we're going to take the hue and tweak it. There we go. Tweak it really bad and do it really light. And you can see the whole image does that. When I add the clipping mask, which is on the bottom left of the properties panel, or option click between the two layers, now it's just him that has that done to him. So any adjustments I make are just on him.
Okay.
In fact, that's just on his head. So I need to add clipping mask from the head to the body. And now that tweaks just him and not the rest of the image.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yep, sure does.
Cool. All right. And
Thank
we'll get
you.
rid of- You betcha. Delete saturation layer. Back to normal. Any other questions? Going once, going twice. Stop share.
Can I show a composite that I've done that I am very proud of?
I'd
The
be
only
happy
thing
to
is-
see that.
I don't want it recorded because it's client work and I don't want it on the internet.
And